Thank you, Professor. Thank you, organizer, to invite me. The structure of my presentation is, first part is Central Bank of Bosnia and Herzegovina, legal basis, goals, task, and organizational structure. Second part is currency board and eurization in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Third part is from the point of view of joining of European Union. Fourth part is management of foreign exchange currency reserves in the central bank BIH. Fourth part is management of mandatory reserves of central bank BIH. And sixth part is the relationship between central bank BIH and the International Monetary Fund. I promise I will very fast, very quickly, and respect time of 20 minutes. Before starting my presentation, I will share some information about economy and constitutional legal system in BIH. BIH is countries transition and development. BIH has recently acquired the status of candidate for EU membership. GDP per capita of BIH in 2029 was 33% of EU average. Real individual consumption per inhabitant, PPS, was in same year to 41% of EU average, and inflation rate in 2022 was about 7.9%. In addition to a small open economy, Bosnia and Herzegovina is characterized by extremely complex state legal structure, and that has implication for economic system and market, which is still not single in large number segments. Namely, based on Annex 4 of Dayton Peace Agreement, which represents the constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and decision of the International Court of Arbitration, Bosnia and Herzegovina is composed of two entities and the Brčko district. The entity Federation of BIH is divided into 10 cantons, while the entity Republika Srpska is unitary. Therefore, the jurisdiction for adoption certain legal acts is divided between state entities, Brčko district, and in the federation, the jurisdiction divided between federation and 10 cantons. This, the result of this state legal structure is 14 constitutions are in the force in BIH, 14 laws adopted by 14 legislative bodies, and 14 governments create and execute these laws by 138 ministries and a different level of government. Now I will go on the topic, the constitution on BIH is the legal basis of monetary policy and law in BIH. According Article 1 or Article 1 of Constitution of BIH prescribes freedom of movement throughout Bosnia and Herzegovina in the sense that BIH and the entities will not hinder the full freedom of movement, person, goods, services, and capital throughout Bosnia and Herzegovina. No entity shall exercise any control at the border between entities. These guarantees the single market in BIH. Article 3 of the Constitution of BIH regulates the competences of BIH institution, and I will underline some of them: foreign trade policy, custom policy, and monetary policy. Now I will say something about the Constitution, the legal basis in some article. Article 7 stipulates that Central Bank of BIH is only authorized institution for printing money and monetary policy in entire territory of BIH. The competencies of Central Bank is determined by Parliamentary Assembly. The Constitution stipulates that within a period of 6 years, for entry into force of this Constitution, Central Bank will not be able to grant loans by printing money, no function as a currency commission. After that period, the Parliamentary Assembly can give this authority to the Central Bank. The aforementioned Constitutional solution ensure that the BIH has its own central monetary institution, which became constitutional category. Now I will tell something about of the law of the Central Bank of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is adopted in 1997, and this law regulates establishment, goals and tasks of the central bank, organization and administration of the central bank, financial regulation, monetary function and activity of the central bank, monetary unit, banknotes, coins, exchange rate policy, foreign exchange reserves and foreign exchange control, relations of the central bank with other banks in the banking system of BIH, and accounts, financial statements, audit, and the reports of the central bank. According to Article 2, or Article 2 regulate the goal and the basic task. The goal is to achieve and maintain the stability of domestic currency, convertible mark, by issuing domestic currency under arrangement known as the currency board. You can see all the basic tasks of the central bank, but I will underline some of them. To formulate, to adopt the control of monetary policy in BIH, to hold, to manage the office foreign exchange reserves of the central bank in a safe and profitable way, to issue regulation for implementation of the activity, to execute the monetary policy and receive deposit from the Bosnia and Herzegovina and from commercial banks in meet to reserves requirement. Now I will tell something about organization and management of the central bank BIH. Article 5, according to Article 5, the organization and administration of the central bank of BIH is based on the governing board and the management consisting of the governor, 3 vice governors and staff. This Article 8 is very important because it regulates constitution on the governing board in such a way that during the first years of the operation of the central bank, governing board consists of the governor appointment by International Monetary Fund, which prior consultation with presidency of BIH, and 3 members appointment by presidency of BIH. The governor appointment by International Monetary Fund is not a citizen of BIH or any other neighboring country. The 3 members appointed by presidency of BIH are 1 Bosniak, 1 Croat from Federation, and 1 Serb from Republika Srpska. After the first years of the operation of the central bank, the governing board of the central bank consists of 5 members, appointment by presidency of BIH. After appointment of the aforementioned members, the governing board elects the governor among its members for a period of 6 years. We will see later which problem we have related with appointment members of governing board. Now I will tell something about currency board in BIH. We know that currency board is a monetary regime based on an explicit legal obligation to replace domestic currency with a specified foreign currency at a fixed exchange rate. This means that domestic currency is only issued if it's fully covered by foreign currency. According to Article 31, which regulates the role of issuing domestic currency or currency board, the central bank is obligated to ensure that the total amount of its monetary liability never exceeded the equivalent amount of its net foreign exchange reserves. Article 32 stipulates that the official exchange rate for currency of BIH is 1 convertible mark for 0.51192 euro, that is 1 euro equals 1.9555830 convertible marks. Economic history indicates that currency board were most often introduced after gaining colonial independence, after a period marked macroeconomic instability, after the first transition reforms and opening of economics. Considering the macroeconomic determinants of the country, countries can be divided into 2 groups. First one are countries where the need to introduce the currency board arose as a result of monetary and currency instability. And second group is countries with a small open economy that not have enough experience in conducting monetary policy. The common determinant for both groups of countries is that they are countries in transition with relatively low economic development. Reasons for introduction currency board in BIH, there are last two justified reasons for introduction of currency board BIH, which existed and which are still valid today. Namely, in the 1990s, BIH began the process of transition to a market economy, and successful transition process means to creation of macroeconomic stability, the backbone of which stable domestic money based on a real basis and with solid basis for a realistic calculation for private investment in economy. And another reason is social nature, is related to general social condition, the need for general social stability in BIH after the war, which resulted in war destruction and post-war trauma, administrative complexity and asymmetry, national division, lack of mutual trust with ethnic group. In such social condition, it was not acceptable to establish a central monetary institution with absolute authority in creation monetary policy. There are two very important questions about a link between currency board and BIH economy. First one is, has the currency board in BIH meet its role? By analyzing effects of the application of this regime during the past year's implementation in order to ensure monetary stability, the currency board achieved other objectives to monetary policy to a great extent: strengthening financial stability and discipline, low inflation rate, attracting foreign investment, continuous growth of foreign exchange reserves, development of financial markets, servicing of the state's external debt, and political independence of central bank BIH. Second question, is the currency board an obstacle to economic growth in BIH? Simple yes, simple answer is no. The reasons are much deeper. We can find here in the real sector, which affect all three dimensions of international competitiveness: price, structural, and living standard. The reasons are as follows. After the solution of Yugoslavia and acquisition of independence, BIH had a much worse starting position due to the damage caused by war, which is reflected in the lost human capital, the destruction of production capacity and infrastructure, and the loss of exports market. BIH had a heavily basic industry as a part of Yugoslavia, and other sectors of economy were not developed. Third reason is a lack of structural reform and insufficiently developed production capacity in technical sense. I think that its most important reason is adverse business economy regulation environment. Now I will tell something about link in currency board with Eurozation in BIH. We know that Eurozation is a term that appears as a counterpart to the term dollarization, and in the broadest definition, it means a situation in which one country uses euro as a means of the internal payment. There is no universal form of Eurozation, but different types have appeared in practice. First types is full official Eurozation. We have this situation in Montenegro. Second is partial official Eurozation, this situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Third form is unofficial Eurozation, and some authors means that one of form is European Monetary Union. Now I will say something about BIH's progress to EU memberships. For the purpose of this conference, the reports of the European Commission of the progress of BIH for 2020, 29 and 22 were analyzed. And monetary policy is placed in a negotiation chapter number 17. And in the reports, it is stated, BIH is early stage of preparation in the field of economic and monetary policy. There is no progress improving cooperation and coordination macroeconomic and fiscal policies. And monetary policy supports economic stability, it's very important. And existing regime of currency board ensures monetary stability within the complex institutional environment of the country. This sentence is related with my second slide. And Commission report is stated that LCB-BIH does not ensure the unconditional functional independence central bank of BIH, namely according to LCB-BIH, central bank is obligated to submit reports on annual financial statement to the Parliamentary Assembly. It's no problem, but the problem is that central bank is obligated to submit preliminary financial report to presidency of BIH. The European Commission believes that the submission, the preliminary report of the presidency can especially affect its independence. This problem arose due to the fact that after the mandate of the members of the governing board expired in August 2029, new members were not appointed because the BIH presidency did not adopt decision of the appointment. The problem of appointing members of governing board due to the blocking of decision making at the state level by representatives coming from the BIH entity Republika Srpska. In order to enable the work of the central bank, one day before end of the mandate in August 2029, the members of the governing board adopted decision on the principle of continuity, which created the assumption that they will carry out activity until the appointment of new members of the governing board. And the Serbian member of the presidency proposed several accusations to use the central bank reserves for fiscal purpose, which would undermine the arrangement of the currency board. This confirmed the importance of maintaining a currency board model and independence on central bank. And 5, the fragmented competencies of banking supervision, which already? Oh, 2 minutes. Go. This is fourth part of my presentation, and topic is management of foreign exchange reserves of central bank. You can see a legal basis for this operation of central bank, and the law stipulates a principle of good management of foreign exchange reserves in such a way that is determined that LCB-BIH invests foreign assets in accordance with the principle and practice of sound investment and only liquid securities issued by governing of the central bank of the country in whose currency the security are denominated. I will pass on. On this slide, we can see structure of investment of foreign exchange reserves in the central bank BIH in 2020. Sources are from the report of central bank BIH. Term deposit with banks is 14%, liquid portfolio about 34%, investment portfolio for 49%, and gold about 1%. This is a structure of investment in foreign exchange reserves in 2029 and 2022. And we can see trends and change in structure of investment on foreign exchange reserves for this year, 2020, 2029, and 2022. Now we can see total net effect, trend of total net effect, trends of total net effect, as effective rate of return. Now I will skip on. Movement of, this is, I must say, this is only monetary policy instrument that central bank BIH has. And we can see movement of mandatory reserve rates from 2012 to 2022, and we can see movement of mandatory surplus of reserves of commercial banks BIH from 2012 to 2022. And at last, the work of central bank from the point of view of the International Monetary Fund, we had and still have debt relationship according to standby arrangement, extended fund facility, and rapid financial instruments. And every year, an International Monetary Fund publishes its opinion on BIH and makes recommendation. And in the report for 2022 states that during the pandemic and more recently the war in Ukraine, the arrangement currency board contribute to ensuring macroeconomic and financial stability, but maintaining public confidence in the currency. And the mission welcomed the reforms of BIH, central bank BIH aimed to strengthening the mandatory reserves framework by applying differential rate to reserves of commercial bank. And conclusion, there are still economic, political, social reasons for applying the currency regime. The opinion of the European Commission and IMF support the positive effect of the existence of the currency model, and the assessment of the work of central bank BIH by international institution is that the bank manages its foreign exchange reserves and the rates of mandatory reserves in a good way, and thus promotes confidence in domestic currency. And I think the currency board will facilitate the easier entry of Bosnia and Herzegovina into the European Monetary Union. Thank you.